U.S. trade policies, an overview and future implications. Introduction. U.S. trade policies have been a central pillar of the nation's economic strategy for decades, influencing domestic industries, global markets, and geopolitical relationships. Over the years, these policies have evolved in response to economic shifts, technological advancements, and changing political landscapes. In 2025, President Donald Trump's administration is pushing for reciprocal tariffs, a move that could significantly impact global trade dynamics. This article explores the historical context, recent developments, and potential implications of U.S. trade policies. Historical context of U.S. trade policies. Historically, the United States has oscillated between free trade and protectionism. Post-World War II era, the U.S. championed free trade with institutions like the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, GATT, and later the World Trade Organization, WTO. The Marshall Plan helped rebuild war-torn economies, strengthening global trade relations. 1980s to 1990s, the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, was introduced to foster economic cooperation with Canada and Mexico, significantly increasing cross-border trade. 2000s, China's entry into the WTO marked a new phase of globalization, benefiting U.S. consumers but leading to job losses in manufacturing as companies relocated to take advantage of lower labor costs. 2016 to 2020, the Trump administration adopted protectionist policies, imposing tariffs on China and renegotiating NAFTA into the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, seeking to curb unfair trade practices and protect American industries. 2021 to 2024, the Biden administration emphasized strengthening alliances, rejoining the Paris Agreement, and negotiating trade pacts to counterbalance China's growing influence while maintaining certain tariffs on Chinese imports. Recent developments in U.S. trade policies. In 2025, the Trump administration has introduced reciprocal tariffs, aiming to impose duties on imports equivalent to those levied by foreign governments on U.S. goods. Key developments include tariff adjustments. Countries with high tariffs on U.S. products, such as China, the European Union, and India, could face equivalent countermeasures. These measures are designed to level the playing field and address long-standing trade imbalances. WTO challenges. Critics argue that such policies may violate WTO regulations and could lead to trade disputes. There are growing concerns about the effectiveness of the WTO in mediating these conflicts, as many countries are increasingly adopting unilateral trade measures. Strategic partnerships. The U.S. is seeking new trade agreements, particularly with Latin American and Indo-Pacific nations, to counterbalance Chinese influence. Key negotiations are ongoing with India, Vietnam, and Brazil, focusing on supply chain resilience and reducing dependency on Chinese manufacturing. Impact on inflation. Increased tariffs may raise the cost of imported goods, potentially fueling inflationary pressures domestically. Consumer goods, electronics, and automobiles are expected to see price increases, affecting middle and lower-income households the most. Energy trade policies. The U.S. is expanding energy exports, particularly liquefied natural gas, LNG, to Europe and Asia to reduce reliance on Russian energy supplies. However, environmental concerns over increased fossil fuel production remain a point of contention within the administration. Potential implications. Economic impact. Positive. Protects domestic industries, encourages local production, reduces trade deficits, and incentivizes reshoring of critical supply chains. Negative. Could disrupt global supply chains, increase consumer prices, and provoke retaliatory tariffs from trade partners, potentially harming American exporters. Geopolitical impact. Strengthening trade ties with strategic allies such as India, Vietnam, and Mexico to reduce dependence on China. Increasing tensions with China and the European Union, possibly leading to prolonged trade wars that could destabilize global markets. Potentially undermining WTO authority, as more nations might adopt unilateral trade measures, challenging the effectiveness of global trade governance. Impact on U.S.-China relations. As tariffs on Chinese goods continue, while efforts are made to curb intellectual property theft and forced technology transfers. Industry-specific effects. Manufacturing. U.S. manufacturers may benefit from reduced foreign competition, encouraging domestic job growth. Agriculture. Farmers might suffer from reduced export opportunities due to retaliatory tariffs, particularly affecting soybean, pork, and dairy exports to China and the EU. Technology sector. Increased trade barriers could disrupt global tech supply chains, particularly for semiconductor manufacturing, where the U.S. is dependent on Taiwan and South Korea. Automobile industry. Higher tariffs on imported auto parts may increase vehicle prices, impacting both manufacturers and consumers. Retail sector. Businesses reliant on imported goods may struggle with rising costs, leading to price hikes for consumers. Conclusion. U.S. trade policies in 2025 reflect a renewed push toward economic nationalism, with an emphasis on fair rather than free trade. While reciprocal tariffs aim to protect American businesses, they also carry risks of trade conflicts, inflation, and potential disruptions to global supply chains. The long-term success of these policies will depend on how effectively they balance domestic economic growth with international trade relations. As global economic dynamics continue to evolve, U.S. trade policy will remain a crucial factor shaping the international marketplace. Future trade negotiations, technological advancements, and geopolitical developments will play a key role in determining the effectiveness and sustainability of these policies.